Bengals taking on Michael Penix and the Falcons at 7 Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. And the Bears-Commanders coverage begins at 8 Eastern on ABC. They're also available on the all-new ESPN app, so you can watch both starting at 8. New on NFL Live, Marcus, you're going to love Mike Tomlin talking about tight ends today.
Fanning is an oversized athlete. I think you box him in when you view him as a tight end. There's been some of those athletes in recent years. I think Brock Bauer reflects that in Vegas, for example. He's probably the prototype.
Swag, how about those oversized athletes?
I've been telling y'all for years, the big dudes are the most elite athletes, and Mike Tomlin knows this. Big fast people beat little fast people, Boogie. You know how often I say that, and that matters, and he understands that matters. And the teams with big dudes that are super athletic, they tend to use them a lot and have a lot of success.
I'm just going to say, I think Mike Tomlin's probably a big fan of big man balling. But by the way, who isn't? Because it's the best.
100%. Yes. Hello.
All right, time for some top stories. Some big news of the day. The Bengals trading Joe Flacco. And that means that Cincinnati will have him until Joe Burrow returns from his turf toe situation. That leaves Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders on the Browns roster. And as for Cleveland and their side of things, Flacco's departure officially moves QB2, Sanders to the QB2 spot. His dad, Dion, was asked about the trade earlier today. Here's what he said.
I don't care. I don't give a damn about the Browns at all. I care about the Colorado Buffaloes. I do love me some Shedeur Sanders, don't believe that. I care about him. The rest of that mess, I don't, okay? I'm a coach trying to win just like they're trying to win games, but I could care less of who they traded.
Oh, all right. Well, Washington got Jaden Daniels back from injury, and maybe Terry McLaurin isn't far behind. This could be great news. They're on Monday Night Football next week. Coach Dan Quinn said he was optimistic for McLaurin returning to face the Bears on Monday night. The team has gone 1-1 during McLaurin's time away. In Minnesota, Carson Wentz was banged up in the win over the Browns and has a sore left shoulder, according to Coach Kevin O'Connell. He left the game and came back into the game. O'Connell also said that J.J. McCarthy, who has a high ankle sprain, will return to practice this week. So let's talk about the Vikings offense. Marcus, how should they approach J.J. McCarthy's return from injury?
Boogie, we talk a lot on this show and we break down a lot of football. I just don't see how you can go away from Carson Wentz with the success that you've had. And I know he had the 2 interception game, but he used his legs in this last game against Cleveland. Cleveland defense is really good. And for this team to be able to pull a win out, I think was significant, especially with Carson Wentz being that QB. We saw the day that Justin Jefferson had as well. And look, I know that they drafted J.J. McCarthy to be the future of this football team. But I also don't believe you can watch and think that you have a better opportunity to win with Carson Wentz and just throw caution to the wind and put J.J. McCarthy back in if he's not ready. Remember, these performances after the Chicago game by J.J. McCarthy were not good. He did not look good. He did not look ready as to be the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. I think Kevin O'Connell and this staff has much more to think about than just they took J.J. McCarthy in the first round and we reinsert him once he's ready to go based on what they've seen from Carson Wentz.
Yeah, it's a difficult decision, and I'm shocked to say that after 3 or 4 weeks. It's really the what do you want versus what do you want right now? Because you obviously want J.J. McCarthy if you're in Minnesota to be the future. But Carson Wentz has played pretty good football. And there's a difference with how they've played. Like, I think the fundamental question, can you play faster than you did? Because that was the big thing for JJ, was he just was playing slow. And just look at like the metrics. Carson Wentz plays significantly faster on early downs. He plays relatively faster on third down. He plays significantly faster in their play action game. In the drop back game under center, 2 seconds faster. And so my thing with JJ in this situation is like, does Minnesota think that those numbers will have been sped up when he's been rehabbing? It's not like they gave him a break for 3 or 4 weeks. He's been rehabbing an ankle injury. Did he speed up his pace of play while rehabbing the ankle injury? That's the question.
I think they have to figure out, can he speed up his pace of play through playing? or is it something that he's needing, that they feel like he has to work out on his own? And this is a young man who spent an entire year not playing.
I think he has to play. I think he has to play because you're not going to give him enough reps.
And I would do it for 2 reasons. 1, developmentally, it would be helpful. Actually, 3 reasons. 2, you have a coach with absolute job security in Kevin O'Connell. This is not like, we got to win now. Obviously, this is a contender of a team if they get decent quarterback play, but I don't think there's that pressure on him. And then the third thing is, I think when he returns to play, the situation is going to be better than what we saw in those 2 weeks when he did struggle. I think having Addison back, I was thinking about this watching the Browns, it's massive. The Browns, once, he didn't play the first quarter, I think he was benched. Once he was on the field with him and Jefferson, you saw them playing way more cover 2. I think that's going to open up things for the run game. You're getting Donovan Jackson back on the interior. We'll see when Brian O'Neill comes back. Regardless of who's playing quarterback, I think this is a football team that has to run the ball and run the ball better than they did in the early part of the season. And I think that's going to happen. To me, it provides a better infrastructure for J.J. McCarthy once he does return.
It's also, who do they truly believe they can be in December?
Right.
Because they might sit there and say, Carson's played well, and you can make the case that
They're not winning playoff games.
Do they think that they'll be a better team come that December playoff run after JJ's maybe had 3, 4, 5, 6 starts under his belt? Yeah. He's got a little bit more of an understanding of the speed of the NFL pass rush and how much faster he has to play. It is a little bit of a dice roll, though. It's not a clear-cut choice.
And, Marcus, the hard part is, if you don't play him right now, what are you adding, another year before he plays again? I mean, you just keep adding time to his time off.
No, Dan and Mina is correct, but I also think you tell the rest of this team, and this is how I truly feel, y'all, that if J.J. McCarthy is reinserted as the starter, this is a litmus test year. This is not a year where we're going to compete for a championship. And you got to be very careful not to fracture a lot of guys that may believe they have a better chance with Carson Wentz. It's not an easy decision at all. And I wanted to ask you this, Dio, how much of the rehab of Sam Darnold you think plays into the mentality and the thought process with Kevin O'Connell and this offensive staff?
Yeah, I think that Kevin O'Connell and his offensive staff believe that the parts around the quarterback really are one of the main reasons why quarterbacks play well. And so they think a lot of quarterbacks can go and play well there, and that's probably accurate. And so I think that there's a reality that, okay, Carson Wentz, he's experienced, he knows a lot of the NFL game, NFL defense, and so they think they can win a lot with him. I'm curious to hear Marcus say that if they go with J.J. McCarthy, it's not a championship caliber year. I still absolutely believe he's got to play better and he's got to play faster.
Yeah.
But I do think that this is still a championship caliber football team if he gets better, if he plays better.
I realize it's a small-ish sample size, but the Vikings have averaged more than 9 offensive points per game in Wentz's 3 starts than McCarthy's 2. So 9 more points makes a big difference when it comes to
Addison and Darrisaw are big parts of those 3 starts.
All right. Coming up.